Hey, Texas Values Action friends. Jonathan Saenz here, president of Texas Values Action. We're just a little more than 24 hours away from the election ending, right? Tomorrow's Tuesday, November 5th. Polls are open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. And look, there's some pretty big races on the ballot here in Texas. Starting off, we've got President of the United States. Texas Values Action has endorsed Donald Trump for President of the United States. Look, I mean, I think this is an easy choice, particularly for people in Texas. You've got someone like Kamala Harris who supports ending the life of a child that is born as a result of a failed abortion. I mean, how can you get any more extreme than that? We're not even talking about abortion. That's a born alive baby. That is infanticide. She supports men competing in women's sports. She wants to use your tax dollars, okay, to pay for surgeries for people in the military and also, I believe, for people that are in prison and kids. I mean, it's way out of control. Donald Trump's been very clear that he will end this practice of men competing in women's sports when he's elected president. We know about his history and legacy on the life issue, but also he's been very clear that these surgeries, these transgender issues is not something that he would support. And not to mention his strength on issues related to the border, to the economy. So Donald Trump supported and endorsed by Texas Values Action. The other big race on the ballot, and this is a statewide race, okay, the U.S. Senate race with Ted Cruz for re-election against Colin Allred. Everyone in the state of Texas, okay, this is going to be on your ballot. So if you're in that part of the state where like, oh, there's really nobody we're voting for, or they're not even opposed, so I don't really even need to show up. Every single person has on their ballot Ted Cruz and Colin Allred. You got to make a decision and choose one of the others. And I think this is important too for people that live in parts of the state where, are considered more red, or, there's unlikely to be a lot of Democrats voting. You could think that, it's not really going to matter. But think about the big cities where you're going to have a lot of people that may trend in the direction of supporting liberal policies that Colin Allred supports. They're going to turn out in some big numbers. And there is a lot of early voting that's already happened, record numbers maybe. But look, in the county where I live, Williamson County, it's been almost 60% turnout, which is incredible. But that also means 40% of the registered voters have not voted. It's like 150,000 people, right? So don't lose sight of that. And look, and it's going to be necessary, if you will, for the rural areas or maybe sort of the less densely populated areas of Texas to vote in higher numbers if they're going to support Ted Cruz for him to win re-election. It's a statewide race, right? Democrats have not won a statewide race since 1994, and we don't need it to be today, okay, or tomorrow, all right? But, look, there could be some fraud out there, so it wouldn't hurt at all if Ted Cruz had a pretty healthy lead. But the polls are saying that race is tied neck and neck. But the difference in the candidates is quite huge. You can see that with our side-by-side here. A lot of other races where we're endorsing all the way down the ballot, Texas Senate races, Texas House races, but I don't think there's any race that's bigger than the Ted Cruz race. And it touches on a lot of issues that we care about, right? The life issue, also the Save Women's Sports issue, using tax dollars to pay for gender transition surgeries. Those issues are concerned. We have state law that's against those things, even though the federal government continues to try to allow these things to happen. I care about the border security issues. That can impact families. We all do. Not to mention the business aspect of so much of this. But look, take nothing for granted, okay? And if you want to know where the candidates stand on these issues, check out freevotersguide.com or txvotersguide.org. I forget the different websites we have. texasvotersguide.com, txvotersguide.com, or just freevotersguide.com. That's the one we've used mainly. But check that out. You can find out where the candidates stand. Some of them go all the way down to city council races, even school board races. And so a lot of things to cover that you may be surprised by. I voted on Friday, and my son was voting for the first time, and I was trying to help him understand there's a lot of other stuff on the ballot, and particularly in some areas. So go to freevotersguide.com and find out what the difference in the candidates are, where they rank on a liberal versus conservative spectrum or somewhere in between. So take a look at that and tell some friends and family. I mean, this is I went with my son. He was voting for the first time, which was a great experience that I enjoyed. I believe he did as well. But don't take for granted that, oh, a bunch of people have already voted. This has all probably been decided. Absolutely not. So many of these races are going to be extremely close. Do not be surprised at all if the U.S. Senate race is decided by 100 votes. Could be less. I mean, I know it sounds strange, but look at all the money that's been spent. Liberal funder George Soros has spent over $100 million to try to turn Texas blue. A lot of that's been in the Cruz race. And so that type of money can move voters, all right? So take a look at that. And don't take anything for granted. All right. Now, before you go, make sure you know where you're going. Okay. The polling place is not always the same on election day as maybe the last time you voted. So have a plan. As a matter of fact, my church is a polling place for the first time that I can ever remember. So make sure you know where you're going and don't cut it too close. Now, if you're in line by 7 p.m., they have to let you vote. But don't take any chances. All right. Weather, you could get sick. Who knows what could happen tomorrow. So be prepared one way or another and vote earlier in the day. Okay. Just to make sure. Maybe your car breaks down. You get a flat tire. I don't know. Okay. There can be a variety of things. But this is an election where we need a huge turnout in order for the candidate we've endorsed, Ted Cruz, Texas Values Action, to triumph. And look, I mean, I don't want it to be this close, but I can't help but think it is as close as everyone's saying it is, and it could come down to a handful of votes. It is not out of the realm of possibility. And so anytime you hear that thought or that thought comes to your mind, oh, it's just one vote, it's probably not going to matter. You have to tell yourself immediately, that is not true, okay? Because if 100 people think that, now we're really, that could really make a difference. Maybe 1,000 people, okay? So go vote. Remember, government belongs to those who show up. So show up, vote for faith, family, and freedom. Use our endorsement guides. Look at the fact that we've endorsed Ted Cruz, Donald Trump, and many other people down the ballot who support issues of faith, family, and freedom. We'll find out what happens after 7 p.m. tomorrow night, Tuesday, November 5th, Election Day. Polls will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Church, the vote.